feel that you are slowly disappearing within your relationship and you're not sure on how to come back to yourself, this life is for you. I'm super excited to be here again and to do this again. Okay, so when was the last time you did something for yourself? A lot of the times I see moms um, struggling with this, especially after the children become a bit older. They feel like they don't know what they like, they don't know what to do for fun, they have all this free time, and it's very hard to fill it in with something meaningful and something that gives them an idea and an image of I am more than just a caretaker. So let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. I would really like to know, when was the last time you did something just for you? Not because somebody asked, not because somebody was happy, not because you wanted to please, just for yourself. Let me know in the comments. I'm super curious. All right. So today we're gonna talk about something that I literally hear every single day from the moms I work with, and that is I do not know who I am anymore. So if that's you, you're not alone. You're in the right place, because it's not about you. It's not you're broken. You haven't lost your identity. Um, you're not selfish for wanting things for yourself. You're definitely not a bad mom if you take some time off and you again focus on things you like to do. At times what happens is that we're just so exhausted from trying to be everything for everybody, and we forget about ourselves, and we're absolutely nothing for ourselves. We are the bottom of the priority list if we ever make it on the priority list. So here is what's happening and how we come to just lose our sense of who we are, because we used to have a life, we used to have an identity, we used to dress in a certain way, and then we fell in love, we have kids, and slowly, gradually, day by day, um, all of this starts to have a different shape and form, and it morphs into a life we no longer recognize. And you stop going to classes, or you stop going to the gym, or you stop doing things you once loved to do, because now your priorities are different and now your focus is on something else. You start canceling plans with your friends because somebody else needs you more. You maybe say yes to things you absolutely hate, but you don't want the conflict. After a long day, you just pick your battles, and it's just easier to say yes than to have a fight. And yes, you are gonna cancel that book club again, and you're not alone in this. We've all done it as moms, we've all done it as humans who get so extremely drained that we don't want to go and do the things that are bringing us joy, the things that used to put a smile on our face. Right now, even that seems like an extra chore. And most of the times, you're wondering, when did this happen? Because at first it felt like love, right? You're sacrificing, you're a good mom, it's what you're supposed to do. But one day you wake up and you realize that you've disappeared. Not physically, you're still there, but you're not really present. You're making lunches, you're doing the bedtime, you're keeping the routine, but you, the person who used to have hobbies and passions and boundaries and opinions and a life of her own, that person is gone. Somewhere along the line, it got lost. So let me know in the comments if this resonates for you, because I know a lot of moms struggle with this, especially if you have to return to work after a long absence. It can really create a lot of panic and a lot of anxiety and a lot of nervousness around, am I still the same person? Do I still know how to do those things? And this is the truth no one talks about. When you lose yourself in a relationship, you're not just hurting yourself, but you're hurting everybody around you, because you are sending the same message to your children. You're perpetuating the same cycle. They're learning that love means putting yourself, they're learning that love means you have to sacrifice yourself, drain yourself, and erase your boundaries and erase your identity. And that, being devoted to something means having no needs at all. And being a good person just is suffering in silence. And I don't think that as moms, this is the message we want to send to the new generation, because they do learn by observing us, they do learn by picking up the subtleties in the environment. Us as adults, we're not so aware of that, and maybe we believe that as long as we talk to them, as long as we have that gentle parenting going on, they're gonna understand and grow and make different choices. However, if your actions don't match your words, it's going to be very confusing for them to see why is it like this, and they're going to continue to perpetuate the same thing they see you do. Okay, you can talk to them about boundaries, but if they don't see you having any boundaries, then what's the point? You're in a way teaching them that they don't matter either. For help is selfish. So the real problem of why do we do this, even though we know what's best and we know what is good. Funny enough, somewhere along the way, we learned that being a good mom means being selfless. It means sacrifice. It means making yourself smaller so that everybody else can be comfortable. And that is not love. And most of the times we're blurring the boundaries and we're not picking up the fight, and we're trying to tiptoe around everybody because we're so mentally and emotionally exhausted. And that is self abandonment dressed up as devotion. Somewhere along the line, we were taught that having needs means we are too much, and nobody's gonna like that. Nobody's gonna like a woman who is too demanding. um we should be very small, we shouldn't have any needs, we shouldn't be asking for things. Don't make it more difficult than it has to be. And it's what we've been constantly told, don't be difficult, don't complain, just be safe. That's what we all want. And how do we balance this hand me down that we have received of be selfless and sacrifice and be quiet and keep the peace, with being a mom, having boundaries, having demands, having needs, without feeling that you're a burden and without feeling selfish? Because wanting space doesn't make you a bad mom, and having needs doesn't make you a high maintenance woman. Saying no doesn't mean that you're heartless and cruel. It means you are human. So we are allowed to have needs without feeling shamed or blamed. So, one thing I want you all to think about is to start small. And by that, I mean choose one thing that you want to bring back into your life, one thing that used to make you happy, one thing that made put a smile on your face. What is one thing you can bring back in your life today just for you, not for anybody else, just for you? Maybe it's reading before bed, anything else than a bedtime story for the kids. Maybe it's going for a walk all by yourself. Maybe you used to paint. Maybe you were dancing or sewing, you know, calling a friend who keeps inviting you over for coffee but you're too busy. Whatever it may be for you and whatever you used to do before, what is one thing you can bring back in your life this week? And just give it 20 minutes, 10 minutes if you don't have 20, but allocate and carve space within the day for you, even if it's 10 minutes, but do it daily. Maybe you want to read more Quran, maybe you want to, whatever it is, whatever brings a smile on your face, and whatever you do for yourself, not because you've worked hard and you deserve it, but because you are a person who deserves to exist fully in your own life. So I really want you to commit to one thing and drop it in the comments. Make it happen. It's a promise to yourself. And yes, some days we might forget about it or we might not have the time for it. That doesn't mean we have to put it aside for good. Okay? Next day, we pick it up again and we try to make it happen. I see your question. If you have to ask that question, I believe you already know the answer. Okay? I hope that answers the question, Ayat. But usually, if that question needs to happen, then you definitely know the answer for it. Okay. I do not understand Arabic. Some of you are commenting in Arabic. I don't understand it, but if it makes sense for you, and if that is something you are committed to bring back in your life, then high five. I'm very happy for you. I won't take it off. Thank you. So, I'm so happy. Thank you, Noir. You're very sweet. Okay, guys. So I will have to wrap it up at this point. Remember, you can love your family deeply and still be yourself. You can be devoted and still have boundaries. And if your cup is empty, you cannot pour and you cannot give anything to anybody because you are empty. And a vessel pours what it contains, unfortunately. If people are filled with blame and shame and guilt, they will snap at everybody else and they will have this constant fear and stress. How how do you read Quran if you don't know Arabic? I can read Quran. I do not understand it. I hope that answered your question. And I also find it funny when people ask me how do you read Quran if you don't understand Arabic. I find that those are two different things, at least for me. Like, I can read in a lot of languages, that doesn't mean I understand what I'm reading, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm super happy to see all of you today. I'm So grateful for all the questions that I've got. Do not lose yourself in the relationship. I know we fall in love. I know we want to be perfect. I know we put a lot of burden and a lot of things on ourselves as mothers. The problem is somewhere along the line, all that gets transformed into resentment and anger and stress because we see everybody else practicing the boundaries, practicing self care, having things that are passionate about, while we somehow don't have that right. And this idea that we should be constantly in the shadows and sacrificing ourselves is not healthy, and it doesn't bring us any value. It doesn't make us better parents, it doesn't make us better partners. It just fills us up with anger and resentment. So I will wrap it up. I am so happy for all the questions that I got. I hope that you took away something from today's live, and I want to know what will you bring back and what will you dedicate time to in the coming week. See you guys